The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus moved about within Galilee, but he did not wish to travel in Judea because the Jews were trying to kill him. But the Jewish feast of tabernacles was near. But when his brothers had gone up to the feast, he himself also went up, not openly, but as it were in secret. Some of the inhabitants of Jerusalem said, "Is he not the one they are trying to kill? And look, he is speaking openly, and they are saying nothing to him." Could the authorities have realized that he is the Christ? But we know where he is from. When the Christ comes, no one will know where he is from. So Jesus cried out in the temple area as he was teaching and said, "You know me and also know where I am from. Yet I did not come on my own, but the one who sent me, whom you do not know, is true. I know him because I am from him, and he sent me." So they tried to arrest him, but no one laid a hand upon him because his hour had not yet come. My sisters and brothers, the gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
When you hear that reading from Wisdom, 200 years before Jesus Christ, and then you hear the Gospel of John written a few decades afterward, it's got to be kind of shocking still in a way, even though we're so familiar with it, how, well, first of all, Wisdom is not only speaking about Jesus, as Jesus would eventually come, but also referring to Jeremiah and some of the other prophets, because they were all righteous people trying to call the people to be faithful to the Lord and calling them out when they weren't faithful to the Lord. And whether it was Jeremiah, who's like a prefiguring of Jesus, the people resented that. Rather than being able to hear, you know what, this prophet is right. We need to take a deeper look at ourselves, or here with Jesus, we need to finally listen to him. Look at the holy person he is. Look at how prayerful he is. Look at how, loving he is. We should be listening to this guy. We should be following his way. We should be repenting. But no, we see the blindness again and again. Then, and it's even in our culture and our world today, that absolutely, instead of even opening up a little bit and saying, this man speaks the truth for us to hear, as soon as he says anything, they resent him and they plot against him. And when you think about Wisdom 2 centuries earlier, already saying, when the just one comes, they will murder him. And of course, knowing here that would happen too. But there's an interesting last line here in John's gospel today. They tried to arrest him, but no one laid a hand upon him because his hour had not yet come. And part of that is saying, it was their sin, was there evil that put Jesus to death? Yes. Was it wrong? Yes. At the same time, Jesus ultimately was in the hands of his loving Father. Ultimately, his Father, from the point of view of, as we see it, was not just waiting, well, let's see, we'll wait a few more days to have you put to death. It wasn't that. It was simply that Jesus came to reveal from the Father his great love. And his love, willing to show that to the human family, even if it caused Jesus the greatest sacrifice, his life. And so, yes, there's sin in the world. It killed Jesus. But ultimately the Father's will, because the Father worked through the hour Jesus came, and even though he died, obviously his great love, the realization in John's gospel, the hour had not yet come. The hour came when he was ultimately on the cross, when he ultimately gave his all, and when at least some people there saw, as the centurion, surely this must have been the Son of God. And so maybe a practical point for us, whatever happens in our lives, whatever sin, whatever discouragement, whatever evil we see, it's real and we need to name it as real. But the upper hand ultimately is with God. God will work through it all, and God's salvation will have the ultimate and final reality for us. So keeping that in mind, on the one hand, it's awful what human beings can do. On the other hand, human beings can't ultimately thwart God's glory and God's will for all of us. Take a moment and appreciate that. God bless you.